main point is just that every time it is jarring to hear.
But Ayo, that's why I feel like...
I'm going to sit here.
No, you know what it is, Ayo? I feel like we've had this conversation so many times. It's tedious. It's tiring.
That's why
I just feel like
it's tiring.
it is what it is.
My rap surely has not upset you.
Personally, I don't get someone who continues to offend you and then continues to say sorry. When you say sorry, it's either you've done something in error or you've done something unknowingly. You can't continue to repeat the same thing and continue to say you're sorry and expect me to forgive you. In my personal life, that doesn't fly. I give you room for one mistake. And if you make another one, then we have to analyze, is it a mistake or are you doing it intentionally? And if you're doing it intentionally, then we have to part company. And I am here for Josh. Josh is the alpha that Mimi needed in her life because he managed to get Sean to go and apologize to Mimi. We've never seen Sean apologize for any of his bad behaviors towards Mimi, but this time Josh had him apologize and he was terrified. Whoever scared the bejesus out of him, whether it's the producers or whether Matilda told him, you don't want to be messing around with a London boy, something has shaken him because he's really shooketh to the core, and I'm here for it and I'm loving it. And then Joey is crazy. How dare he try to embarrass Mimi by saying you and Josh are keeping me up all night? Leave them alone. So if they're keeping you up all night, then why do you keep going on about the secret mission? Why? When you know that these people really are feeling each other like that. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island, Season 11, Episode 45. So the talent show is finished, and then we have Mimi having a conversation with Josh. Because Josh, I think, is just checking in with Mimi to make sure she's okay after the comments that were made by Sean and Joey. And Mimi, they talk about their acts first, and then they speak about that. And Mimi is upset. And what happens is, when you upset Mimi, you upset Josh. Josh is okay, he can take it. But the moment Mimi starts to show that it's affecting her, these people are going to see a side of Josh that they don't want to see. And then they're going to start labeling him, forgetting that they were the ones that, as I said yesterday, were poking the bear. And they were poking the bear because in the real world, this would never happen. No one would continue to be patronizing, derogatory, make racial, or I don't say... Well, they're not coming out to say racial comments, but it's coming across that way because the people they have a problem with are people of a certain ethnic group. And so for me, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, then it is a duck. Joey has had an issue with Omar. Joey and his minion, Sean, they've had an issue with Omar. He's had an issue with Connor. He's had an issue with Blade. He's had an issue with Ruben. He's had an issue with Mimi. They've now got an issue with Josh. And Ayo, I think the only reason why they don't have an issue is because Ayo is one of the OG guys. And Ayo, I don't think they want to cross him. So this is why they sort of stay clear of Ayo. When they make whatever comments they make, they sort of scoop up Jess, but they leave Ayo to the side. Everybody else, they take along in their mess. And so I don't get why the producers don't do anything about it. You have Matilda having a conversation with Sean saying, oh, I don't think he'll be upset. It was a sweet joke. And it's like, seriously, how dumb are you? How dense are you? And for Matilda to sort of go along with that and have Joey and Jesse with a Y all agree that no, Josh shouldn't be offended. Why is he upset? It was just a joke. It was part of our act. And it's like, let the tables be turned. Let Josh be the one doing that. You'd have millions of complaints to Ofcom. Everyone would be complaining about how dare he, is the audacity. So for Sean to then go and have a conversation and pull Josh for a conversation, Josh didn't want to speak to him in the first place. And then Josh eventually went. And as soon as they sat down, you could tell that Sean was trying. He puts on this innocent face and he pretends to be very naive and very ignorant of what he's doing. But you know, and you can see through the BS, and Josh could see through the BS. And you have Joey turn up, and then Ayo was sitting on the day beds with Jess and Kieran and Nicole. So Ayo, I think he realized that they might tag team Josh, or Josh might end up being provoked to an extent that he can't pacify himself. So I think he went there more to pacify or to sort of be backup for Josh than anything else, because Josh can take those two idiots on. Sadly, he can take those two idiots on and still go and make a cup of coffee afterwards. So the fact that they were trying to be patronizing and Joey saying you're antagonizing me, I wish I'd asked him to spell the word antagonize, let alone to define what it means. How dare he? And it's the audacity. You can tell that Josh is a very highly intelligent young man and he's having to sort of cope and sort of manage these B.Tech students. Oh my God, it's getting on my nerves. The audacity for them to think they can step... I get emotional at times, but because if that was me, I am normally a very calm person. If that was me, someone might end up having to catch pause because I can't be dealing with that, because they can't poke the bear and then when they're confronted, they pretend to be idiots. They pretend to be ignorant of what's going on and they pretend they pretend to not understand what is being said. I like the fact that once they were at the fire pit, and Josh and Sean were at the fire pit, and Joey came in, and then Ayo came in. Mimi immediately moved to the den because she wanted to hear what was taking place. Because I think she thought, if these idiots are going to gang up on my man, then I'm going to be ready. So she moved closer. Then you had Jess move closer, and Jess is in agreement with Mimi that why does Sean keep bringing this up? Because at the end of the day, Sean does not have a spotless journey in the villa. He was pied by girl after girl. Harriet pied him. Jess pied him. All the girls were using him as their safety, as their get out of free jail card. When they're asked to kiss someone, they would kiss him, and that's how he learned to kiss. And then the only way he got Matilda was because he got rid of Oma. So the audacity to think that he's better than... Please, the girls in Casa just wanted to stay in Casa. That's why they were going after him. That's it. And so for him to have that record and then try and pull Mimi on one mistake, please sit down. Please sit down. I'm not here for that nonsense. And Joey came in. He wanted Harriet. Harriet friend-zoned him. He wanted Jess. Jess didn't want him. And he ended up coupling up with Samantha, a fangirl. And when he realized that, oh my God, this is my stalker, that's when he moved on to Grace. And from Grace, when he got whatever he wanted, when he took her to the hideaway and did every single thing that he wanted with her, he then jumped ship and went to Jesse with a Y. And because none of the other girls have given him a shot, that's why he is where he is. So the audacity for them to think that they can call out Josh or they can call out Mimi, please take several seats. We're not here for that. And I like the fact that in the end, I think Josh realized that he was losing brain cell after brain cell talking to these two dumb B.Tech students. So he then went to the kitchen and Ayo sort of said to them, yes, you are saying no offense, but at the end of the day, you might not be offended, but it's the person who's receiving what you're saying, because that's it at the end of the day. It's not about the words that they're saying. It's about how is it being received by Josh. And Josh is telling them that as much as you two are saying whatever you want, you two knuckleheads, it's not just affecting me. It's affecting Jess. It's affecting Ayo. It's affecting Mimi. And you could see the emphasis he put on Mimi, that what affects Mimi affects him. If she's happy, he's happy. If she's unhappy, then all hell is going to break loose in that fella. And so somebody needs to control those idiots. I don't know why the producers continue to allow this bad behavior to carry on. I love the fact that Kieran was like, I'm surprised you stayed there that long, because I wouldn't. Kieran is Team Mimi and Josh, because he said, I back you 100%. I agree with you. Whatever's going on, I agree with you. And so, for Joey and Sean to be sitting at the fire pit and saying, oh, nobody wants to be with us. Well, what do you think, Sherlock Holmes? What do you think? Your girls should be calling you out. They should be telling you this is unacceptable, because silence means acceptance. Silence means acceptance, because for them to not say to you this is unacceptable means that they accept it as good behavior and as power for the cause. And for the producers to then reward Joey with going to the hideaway, I guess they wanted to diffuse the situation. That's the only thing I could think of, because why else would they reward him with the hideaway? Because they could feel the tension in the villa. So maybe they thought, oh, this will ease the tension if you put him in the hideaway, then the others can have peace. Sean will be you'll just be a puppy with no leader. He's got no bite. So Joey and Jess get to go to the hideaway. It's the audacity for me, the audacity that someone has the audacity to call Mimi for going on the terrace, and yet he's been to the hideaway with two different girls. Make that make sense. He's been to the hideaway twice, and it's not like he's just going there to sleep. He's going there to have sex. So we've all seen his sexual tendencies on TV. And he has the audacity to call someone to say you are kneeling and you're sitting there in a sexual manner. What about you, who's actually having sexual intercourse in the villa? Make that make sense? I don't know why someone doesn't call him out for that. Anyway, oh my God, today I'm wired for sound. So the rest of the islanders get ready for bed and everybody goes to bed and it looks really cute. So in the morning, you have Joey and Jess come back from the hideaway and, she has a conversation with the girls, sort of, I think they were asking her, oh, did you have sex or whatever? She did, because they showed us the champagne canister shaking. So why was it shaking? She did have sex. Anyway, so you then have Sean approach Josh again to say, please, could I have a chat? And Josh is like, I'm making my breakfast. When I finish making my breakfast, then we'll see. And it's like, why do you need to keep nagging this man? So because maybe, I think he was told off in bed by Matilda, and this is why he feels sorry. Because why the sudden, I feel bad. Matilda must have told him off. Matilda must have told him that don't play with Josh, because just because he's looking at you and he's keeping quiet doesn't mean that he doesn't feel some type of way. And you're not always going to stay in the villa at the end of the day. So at some point you're going to leave the villa and you're going to have to back the words that are coming out of your mouth. And I think this is why he felt bad. And so they have a slight debrief where you have Joey sitting with Sean. And I think Kieran has refused to go there. So that's why they've put Ayo, because Ayo is neutral party. And Ayo was right to say, at the end of the day, the reason why Josh feels some type of way is because maybe Mimi is upset about it. And because they're together, they're a couple, he's going to feel the same way that his partner feels. So if she's upset, he's going to feel upset for her. So you have to be mindful. And for Joey and Sean to keep saying, oh, it was a roast, it was part of performance. And it's like, that doesn't mean whatever you say is not offensive. You can't hide behind the roast. You can't hide behind the fact that I had an apron and I was throwing sweets. Yes, you had an apron and you're throwing sweets, but there are words that came out of your mouth, words that you rehearsed wanting to offend someone, and then now you're worried that, oh, why are they offended? Why haven't they forgiven me? Well, maybe because you're an idiot, one. Maybe because they know that intellectually you're not on par with them, so that you do not deserve to be having conversations with them. And maybe on stations in life, maybe he's in a better position than you, and you don't deserve to be breathing the same air that he's breathing. And it's just because you both came into the villa, this is how your paths crossed. And once you leave the villa, they'll never cross again. Have you ever thought of that? Oh, God. I'm so passionate about this thing. It's me. And so you have the girls having a conversation. You have Jessie with Jess and Grace. And they're sort of saying, oh, we don't understand why. I have to agree with Joey and Sean. We don't understand why Josh felt offended. And it's like, genius. You have been having a go at Joey every time he calls you out on something. And suddenly, because it's Josh, she must just take it on the chin. Why? And I give credit to Jess because she said, these guys keep poking the bear and poking the bear and poking the bear, and then they come back and they say sorry. And then they come back and they poke and they poke and then they stand back and say sorry. This is what they're doing. And I don't get why the producers haven't cautioned them. I don't know whether it's because they are waiting for Josh to react a certain way, but I think Josh is enough sort of self-restraint. I think maybe had they met younger Josh, maybe that would have been a different story. But I think he's at a stage in life whereby he knows that he stands to lose way more than he stands to gain by laying hands on those two idiots. I don't know. I like the fact that Kieran was just agreeing, because Josh was saying they're idiots because they offend you, then they say sorry, then they offend you, then they say sorry. They don't understand. That is my policy. In order for you to say sorry, to me it means you acknowledge what you've done and you'll never do it again. It was done in error, not because you intentionally did something. You can't intentionally offend me and then turn around and say I'm sorry. No. Oh my God, I need to get off my high box. I'm becoming a bit emotional. I might take a break. So, one thing I like about Josh is going to stand on business. And I think let this be a warning to everyone that if you want to be on Josh's good side, then make Mimi happy. Because as long as Mimi's happy, he's happy. Because Sean comes in for round 2 conversation. It makes me question, why is he on this occasion so sorry? Why is he so sorry? After the grafties, he wasn't sorry, but now he's eating so much humble pie. It makes me question, was he called out by the producers, or did Matilda say you need to be careful? Because, this is a London boy, and London boys, you don't mess about with them saying whatever you want from the side of your mouth and think you can get away with it. You need to be careful. So somebody must have warned him, and he's terrified for his poor life. This is why he keeps wanting to apologize and make sure that Josh understands that he's apologetic, because we didn't see him apologize about his behavior during the grafties. So Josh says, I take it with, a pinch of salt. But he also made sure that Sean understood that he had offended Mimi. And so he sort of put into Sean's head that Sean needed to apologize to Mimi. And Sean was on board with that. And I think Sean thought the only way I can get in, Josh's good graces is if I run and apologize to Mimi. So for the first time since he started offending Mimi, this is the first time I've heard him say, I'm sorry. Am I wrong? This is the first time I've heard him say, I'm sorry. And for Mimi to say, I know you, but I feel like, I'm more offended because you've offended Josh. More or less, that's what she was implying, that Josh is a very proud guy. And I have a lot of Nigerian friends, and respect is a very great thing in their community or as a part of their culture. I know there are different cultures in Nigeria, don't knock me. But at the end of the day, respect is a very big thing, not just in Nigeria, but in a lot of African countries. And so when someone disrespects you continuously, then we have a problem. And I think Mimi was saying, you can't continue to disrespect my guy and think you can get away with it and think I'll be on board with you. That's unacceptable. So you need to understand that. And so you had Sean apologize, and it's like, well, we'll see how long that lasts. As Josh said, you'll take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. Anyway, Jess receives a message to say that they're going to play a game and find out the public's opinions of their couples. And it's like, oh, it's about to be messy. It's about to be messy. Some people are about to eat humble pie. Let Sean and Joey Essex feast. So the islanders are given questions which they have to answer. Their answers have to be in sort of ranking themselves. So it's gold, silver, and bronze. And so whatever the question is, couples are expected to stand on either one of the podiums. The first question is, which couple is the hottest? And you have a back and forth because everybody agrees that Ruben and Grace are very good looking, so they want them there. And then Jess calls out Mimi and Josh, and she says, I think you should be number one. And you hear Sean suddenly has an opinion. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Joey and Jess should be up there. And it's like, okay. So you then have this back and forth until everyone agrees that, okay, let Mimi and Josh go. But Mimi and Josh are put on the silver, so they're second. And the results are revealed. I like the fact that Jess said, no, I would rather be down here and be supposed to be on the podium than be on the podium and find out that I'm actually not even in the top three. Anyway, so number 3 is Joey and Jesse. Number 2 is Nicole and Kieran. And number 1 is Mimi and Josh. And some egos were bruised because some people didn't think that they were the hottest. And to find out that the public actually thinks they are was humbling for quite a few people, in my opinion, namely Sean. Next question is, which couple are the most vain? And it's like, this is messy. This is messy because at the end of the day, you have people in there that don't even understand the true meaning of vain. So it's you're asking people to sort of describe themselves when they don't know what it means. And the fact that you had Jesse with a Y having to define what vain means for Joey doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, textbook meaning is having or showing an excessively high opinion of one's appearance, abilities, or worth. And if we were to put a face to this meaning, who would we put? Joey and Sean. That's what, because this is the reason why they are so offended by people like Josh, because they can't fathom the idea that there are people that are better than them. They have this self-worth, or they have this perception of themselves that is unrealistic. Anyway, so they finally agree on Jesse with a Y and Joey being number 1, Grace and Ruben number 2, Jess and Ayo being number 3, even though Jess says she doesn't agree. Anyway, the results are revealed and the first 2 are correct. So Joey and Jesse with a Y are number 1, Grace and Ruben are number 2, and Matilda and Sean are number 3. And they are livid. They are livid because they can't understand why they are being defined as the most vain, and yet they are one of the most ugly couple. And it's like, well, most vain has nothing to do with your beauty. or your hotness. At the end of the day, it's your opinion of yourself. It's not people's opinion of you. It's your opinion of yourself. So you think you're all that, and actually everybody else around you doesn't think so. And this hurt little Sean's ego, and I think he's now about to bring out his evil side. And Matilda is upset, and it's like, well, you are the person you sleep next to. If you were calling him out, if you were sort of reining him in, maybe he wouldn't be going off the rails as he is. It's interesting to me. Anyway, let me read the question first. So the next one is which couple are the most genuine? And it's interesting that people's egos are bruised by the fact that Josh and Mimi are doing so well. It's interesting because the fact that they were sort of deciding which couples to go, and Kieran was adamant that he wanted to be there. So they were all in agreement that Kieran and Nicole would be number one. And then with Sean, he said he wanted to be there with Matilda, and then somebody brought up Josh and Mimi, and you had Grace have the audacity to say, oh, if people have seen what's happened, with this situation, then the terrorists, then it might not be a good idea to put Josh and Mimi. And it's like, just say you're upset that he didn't pick you and take several seats, because if people are looking from day one, people like Joey do not deserve to stand there. People like Sean do not deserve to stand there. Ayo, they might forgive him because Mimi is now happy, but you have no leg to stand on because you've been jumping from guy to guy to guy. So the three of you couples do not deserve to be on those podiums. But anyway, they finally agree that Kieran and Nicole go number one. Sean and Matilda decide they are number two because they were told that put Mimi and Josh number two. They refused. Anyway, Mimi and Josh decided they were about to stand down, but they decided to go on to number three because Mimi said, I would rather we stand at number three. Results are revealed. It's humbling. This is why Jess was saying, I would rather be down here than be up there and then be humbled when I find out that I'm actually not even in the running for whatever post I'm standing on. Because the results are Kieran and Nicole are number one, Mimi and Josh number two, Jess and Ayo are number three. And it's like, Everyone can tell that everything else is a performance. We all know Grace has settled for Ruben because she couldn't have Josh. We all know Sean has only been with Matilda because he took out the competition, and Matilda has had to settle, and she's realized that the only way she can stay in the villa is sticking around with this idiot. And then Joey and Jesse, I don't even know what's going on there. So the next one is which couple has the worst dress sense, and it's there's a debate because no one wants to go up there. Matilda is fuming because she's saying, I have clothes that girls have borrowed, the girls have borrowed most of my clothes, so I can't be the worst dressed. And it's like, it's not about you only, Matilda, it's a couple. So they decide that, first of all, everybody nominates them for first, and Matilda kicks off. So they are then downgraded to second. Kieran is put on first because of his dress sense, not because of Nicole. I know a lot of people have had a lot of things to say about Nicole's makeup and how she applies it and stuff, but hey, that's not part of the cause. You have Grace and Ruben be number three, and it's like, well, it is what it is. The results are revealed. Oh my God, this if nothing else, this thing is humbling. Sean in particular, Sean and Joey. Matilda is just, she's just catching strays. Poor thing. Because they are nominated first for worst dressed, followed by Jesse and Joey, and then last is Jess and Ayo. Ayo, I can accept. Jess has a banging body. She normally dresses very well. Ayo, sadly, his dress sense is all over the place. And I think because of his height, he doesn't always have stuff that sort of comes across great on his body. Whereas even though Josh is tall, but because of the proportions of his body, he looks better than Ayo. Ayo is still growing into his body. So poor thing, like the pink shirt and the black trousers, or even the trousers he wore in Casa where the shirt looked very tiny. I see why they're up there. Most of the girls that are up there because of their guys, not because of themselves. Joey needs to learn to read the room. Anyway, because I've said this before and I'll say this again. Mimi is a trained mental health nurse. Anyone that goes to see their doctor, that goes to see their nurse, that goes to see any healthcare professional, how would you feel knowing that your healthcare professional is bumping uglies on TV? So she's not going to do certain things. But anyway, I digress. So the idea, I love the fact that she silenced Joey before he went any further. But anyway, so the question is, which couple has the least sexual chemistry? there's sort of a back and forth, and everybody agrees that Grace and Ruben, because they've just recently become romantically involved. So they've just recently started being touchy-feely. Ayo and Jess says, let's go up because of the fact that we really had that one-sided thingy. Mimi and Josh are nominated, and then Joey has the audacity to say, because Josh says, I believe there's chemistry, so I understand if you're put out there. And, you have Ruben say, it's not about what you believe, it's about what the viewers think. And Joey has the audacity to shout, Mimi and Josh, there's sexual chemistry there because I hear you all night. You keep me up at night kissing, and Mimi had to silence him. And I was like, what else are these two doing that's keeping Joey up at night? Why are they keeping him up at night? I thought they were being respectful. So when they finish saying their prayers, then they do whatever they do. Oh my God, I laughed. So the results are revealed. And in number 1, it's Ruben and Grace with the least sexual chemistry. Matilda and Sean are fuming. They've eaten a lot of humble pie because they are nominated for the most negative of things, and I'm here for this because Sean needs a taste of his own medicine. He's been giving it to Josh and saying it's a joke. Well, this is a challenge, buddy. You have to suck it up and deal with it. Mimi and Josh are nominated that. I think most of it was backlash from the Terrace Gate. I don't think it's because they don't have sexual chemistry. I think it's because of Terrace Gate, because even the other islanders agree that they do have amazing sexual chemistry. I think they were happy to be nominated. Because they don't want, this situation, this hypothesis that Joe is putting out there that they are keeping everyone in the villa awake, doing whatever nonsense they're doing. Because as soon as he made that comment, you saw Mimi and Josh, they were so embarrassed and they were whispering to one another, and it's like, what are these 2 little kids doing? Anyway, I digress. I actually love this challenge because there's no messy kissing, there's no messy passing of food and stuff, so I'm happy with this. So the next challenge is which couple are the most likely to cheat on each other, and everybody's now in their feelings. Everybody's in their feelings at the end of the day. I'm surprised they didn't call out Mimi. I think they're still afraid of Josh, but then at the end of the day, there's still a few more minutes to go before this episode ends. They've been too nice for the time being. So, there's a back and forth, and then they decide that Grace and Ruben, because they are the newest couple, that makes sense. Ayo and Jesse, because of Casa, the way Ayo moved from Mimi onto Jesse. I love the fact that Mimi and Josh said nothing, kept their opinions to themselves. They mind their own business and drink their tea. And then you have Sean and Matilda. Matilda is kicking off. Oh, I don't want to be up there. And it's like, but girl, you saw your guy in 4K. Kissing 2 girls and playing with 2 girls in Casa. What do you think, Sherlock Holmes? What do you think? At the end of the day, his long-term girlfriend said he broke up with her just before he came into Love Island. And she believes that he broke up with her because he wanted to come onto the show. So make that make sense? Anyway, the results are revealed and Jesse and Joey are number 1. Surprised? No. We all saw him the way he skipped from Samantha onto Grace and then onto Jesse with a Y, and the way he was flirting with the other girls. He said he puts it down to his persona. If that's what makes him sleep better at night, amazing. Matilda and Sean are upgraded to 2nd place. They're not happy. And then Grace and Ruben are downgraded to 3rd place. And they're not happy. So everybody's not happy with their positioning. And it's like, well, prove the public wrong then. Prove us wrong. So the next question is, which couple are staying together to win? And so there's this back and forth. And I get where Josh is coming from. Because Josh is saying if couples have been voted the most genuine, that means that the viewers see them as people that have a real thing, that they're growing. They're not just doing it for the show. Which means in that situation, the couples that were least genuine are the ones that are supposed to what? To go on the podiums. Everybody kicks off. Well, that doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, there's the secret mission. It has to come up with these idiots. It has to come up. And Mimi has reached her boiling point. Just because someone keeps quiet doesn't mean they don't have an opinion. Doesn't mean they don't get upset. It doesn't mean that they don't have any thoughts in their mind. It's just some people don't want to speak just to be heard. And Mimi is one of those people. I'm one of those people that will sit and digest on something. And when I'm ready to speak, I'll speak. And so for these guys to keep pushing her and pushing her and pushing her and expecting her to continue to take it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So you end up having Sean and Matilda go to 1st place. Joey and Jesse go go to second place. Mimi and Josh go to third place because Mimi says, well, because these guys keep going on about the secret mission, this would put us in third place. So they go and they stand up in third place. And at this point, she's reached a boiling point. One thing I like about Mimi and Josh is, unlike some of these other idiotic couples, they know how to pacify each other. They know how to balance each other out. Because during the grafties, when Josh was kicking off, Mimi would just say quietly to him, you need to calm me down, and then he would calm down. In this situation, Mimi had lost it. And the interesting thing is, even if she's lost it, her voice is still at the same, wavelength. It doesn't go any higher, it doesn't go any lower. Even when she's trying to shout, it doesn't come across as forceful as someone like Josh. And I think this is why she said she wanted an alpha male, because she knows she can't, as much as she tries to be confrontational, she can only do so much, so she will need her guy to. And I love the fact that when she was kicking off, Josh was quiet. He was quiet. He was just waiting. Had they come at her, then they would have seen the alpha in him come out. So you have Joey saying, oh, Mimi, you were disputing the secret mission, but yes, you gave that as your rationale for standing up here. And she said, well, I have tried to be respectful. I haven't discussed your journey in the villa. But if you want to, let's go there. Because you have Jesse, after they came out of the hideaway, saying, oh, it was nice to go to the hideaway. I hope other people get the opportunity to experience it. And it's like, just look to your left. She's been to the hideaway. Who else do you want to be? And at the end of the day, she's been to the hideaway with the same guy you've been to the hideaway with. So it's not like you're the special person who's been to the hideaway. You are Joey's second round in the hideaway. So how would she feel hearing that if Mimi were to start talking? But Mimi has been respectful of Joey's relationships and connections and has kept quiet. And as soon as she said that humbled him and brought him down to earth. Because last time he was saying to her, please forgive me. I don't want you to hate me. But you can't keep apologizing and repeating the same thing as Josh said. You apologize for a mistake, or you apologize if you've done something without knowing. You can't keep apologizing and reoffending. Anyway, so the results are revealed, and it's Grace and Ruben are number 1, Matilda and Sean number 2, Nicole and Kieran are number 3. Wow. So the next question is, which couple is least likely to work on the outside? And Joey immediately goes into, well, I have a busy schedule because of my lifestyle. I don't think, Jesse, blah, blah. And it's like, I get where Josh was coming from, that you can't just put it down to your lifestyle. Remember, Jessie had the lifestyle before she came into the villa. So you have to understand that she might not be able to keep up with you because she has other things to do. And she says she was doing a 9 to 5 and she says, oh, well, I don't see the reason for bringing it up just because, we'd already agreed to go. No, what Josh is trying to do is he's trying not to minimize your sort of input or your sort of lifestyle into this equation, because Joey's making it seem like he's the prize and you're just following along. And so he's trying to sort of make it known that if this thing doesn't work, it's not just because Joey's busy. It could be you have your own things going for you that might keep you busy. That way you can't keep up with him. So I don't know why she didn't understand him at the end of the day. So they decide to say Ruben and Grace are number 1, Joey and Jesse are number 2, Sean and Matilda are number 3. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, Sean and Matilda were tired, I think, of being beat down because they got all the negative responses. So the results are revealed, and Grace and Ruben are number 1, Joey and Jesse are number 2, and you have Jess and Ayo. Just because people are still doubtful of Ayo, they don't know whether he's ready to commit to someone. I don't think he's at an age 23 to commit to anyone fully. I think he has a lot of living to do. Maybe a couple, 3, 4, 5 more years. Then he'll be ready. Maybe when he gets to the same age as Josh is at, maybe he'll be ready to settle down. People are hurt. And you have them sort of, well, Josh asks them, how do you feel about this? And everybody's sort of trying to prove the public wrong because they feel like their connections are strong and things are going to work. Even Ayo says this, and it's like, well, it's only a matter of time. They immediately receive a text message and it's like, wow, the producers are brutal. They're brutal. The way they kicked people out after, movie night, and the same way they kicked out people after the grafties, they're going to try and do the same now. The text message reveals that, Ruben and Grace have been dumped as they have been voted as least likely to work on the outside. Grace is devastated. Ruben, he doesn't even know what to do with himself. And then you start to see everybody else's reaction. Jessie, Jess is crying because she was very close friends with Grace. Jessie with a Y was close friends with Grace. And I'm devastated for Josh, because this is the guy he walked into the villa with. This is someone who's been his ride or die. Ruben has been a right hand for, Josh, for everything, be it planning dates with Mimi, be it sticking up for him when the other guys come after him, be it trying to help him process what's going on in his connection. So the fact that he's going home, yes, the last week they've got a couple of episodes left and Josh and Mimi are in a stronger place, but he's really been, Josh's right hand. And I hope Mimi is able to step up for Josh as he processes this, because Josh stepped up for her when Uma went home, and I hope my girl is able to step up and sort of comfort her guy as he processes whatever's happened. It's sad. It's sad. But I think it's a good thing breaking up Grace and Jessie with a Y, because they were becoming the mean girls of the villa. They were becoming similar to what the villa was when it first started, because you had a lot of mean girl behavior. So I think breaking them up will be good, because Jessie with a Y will be left on her own with no one, because some of the other girls get along better. Because everybody else gets along better without the toxic twins. So now that one of the twins is going home, I think this will be good for the morale of the villa. Yes, I'm sad that Sean is still there, but at the end of the day, I prefer Matilda staying in the villa than I do Grace. So I hope, we have either Sean. I don't think Joey will go home. I think next up will either be Sean or who do I think? Do I think Ayo and Jessie? I think Ayo has sort of scored points with the viewers by sticking up for Josh when these boys tried to tag team Josh. So I think Ayo has finally found his way into the top 4. So I can't wait for Sean to go home. I think it's now a case of between Sean and Joey. And Joey has a large fan base. So my money's on Sean being the next person going home. If he doesn't go home, then it's Ayo. And I really don't want Sean to be rewarded with the top 3. I don't think that's a good idea. I think he's been very vindictive and very malicious. And he's instigated a lot of things in the villa, thinking that Joey would back him, not realizing that Joey had a career before he came in. Joey had money before he came in. His sweets business is going to suffer, because if he thought he was going to get publicity for it, people are not feeling him and his behavior, so they're not going to feel like buying from him, which is really sad for him. But hey, it is what it is. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 44. Bye guys.